Season 2 of Wednesday brought new stories, new mysteries, and new faces. One of them already stood out in the trailers. Meet Agnes DeMille, but before we get into the character, let's talk about the actress behind her. Evie Templeton didn't land at Nevermore by chance. Her journey? All discipline and smart career moves. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Evie Templeton, from her training to the moment she caught the eyes of Wednesday's showrunners and became part of the cast. We'll break down what she brings to the screen, how she built her character, and why Agnes is already one of the most intriguing additions this season. Evie Templeton was born on December 31st, 2008 in Barbados. The name Evie comes from New Year's Eve, but her life didn't stay under the Caribbean sun for long. At age 7, she and her family moved to England looking for new opportunities, a change that also opened the door to something bigger. Acting. Even as a kid, Evie had a natural sense for movement and stage presence. She now trains at the Tring Park School for the Performing Arts, the same place that shaped Daisy Ridley and Lily James. And yes, she also earned a scholarship at London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, one of the UK's most prestigious drama schools. Her start? Musical theatre. She worked her way up through local productions, eventually landing professional gigs including Les Miserables on London's West End. At just 10, she played young Eponine and Cosette for 6 months. That's where she learned the rules of big league productions. Hit your marks, rehearse like it's the real thing, and show up with energy and consistency every single night. Skills that years later would become essential in front of the camera, but none of that guaranteed instant fame. Like a lot of British actors, Evie took the long road, small parts in TV and film, building experience before the breakout moment. Still, there was something about her. Directors noticed, producers noticed, a kind of intensity most actors fake. She made it look easy. So when the audition for Wednesday came around, Evie wasn't just a promising newcomer. She was already trained, already precise, and more importantly, she could hold the screen without saying much, which is exactly what caught the eye of Tim Burton, Al Gough, and Miles Miller. Before showing up in the Nevermore Academy, Evie Templeton was on a quiet but deliberate path. Her first on-screen role came in 2020 in the short film Red. She played a girl named Tally, small production, intense performance. Even then, you could see the signs. The kind of presence that works best when the character's holding something back. By 2022, she was stepping into bigger waters, nothing flashy, just enough to get noticed by the right people. Her first TV appearance was in the BBC miniseries Life After Life, based on the novel by Kate Atkinson. Evie played young Frida in a few key scenes. Later that same year, she showed up in Disney's live-action Pinocchio, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, that's Zemeckis. She shared a credit list with Tom Hanks. The roles were small, but the sets weren't. Big productions with serious budgets and pressure to deliver. That's where young actors either step up or fall behind. Evie stepped up. Then came 2023, her first lead role in a feature film, Lord of Misrule. She played Grace Holland opposite Tuppence Middleton. The movie didn't break international box office records, but it did something more important. It proved Evie could carry a story alone. The tone was psychological, slow-burning. Less about lines, more about atmosphere, which, as it turns out, is where she thrives. Around the same time, she started branching out into games and voice acting, giving voice to Laura in the Silent Hill 2 remake, set for release in 2024. She's already confirmed to reprise the role in the upcoming film Return to Silent Hill, slated for 2026. The move across different media like theater, TV, film, gaming didn't just build her resume, it built range, and range gets attention. That's when her name popped up on the radar of Wednesday's creative team. In May 2024, Netflix made it official. Evie Templeton would join season 2 as Agnes DeMille, a new student at Nevermore. Details were vague at first intentionally, but the early description said enough. They were looking for someone who could balance mystery, fragility, and just enough unease to keep people guessing. The audition process started with a self-tape. Then came chemistry reads over Zoom with both Jenna Ortega and Emma Myers at the same time. And finally, an in-person session with Tim Burton, Alfred Gough, and Miles Miller. She didn't need to say much. The way she held still, the way she used space, did most of the talking. According to insiders, her performance during those sessions was so specific, the writers adjusted parts of the character to match her. So by the time filming started, one thing was clear. This new student wasn't here to blend in. Agnes DeMille wasn't just a new name on the call sheet, she was built to shake up the system and leave a mark. The introduction of Agnes DeMille in Wednesday Season 2 follows a pattern Tim Burton knows by heart, bring in a character that seems secondary at first and make them impossible to ignore, not by volume, but by presence, by the way they hold a frame, by what they don't say out loud. In the story, Agnes is the new girl at Nevermore. Her power? Invisibility. Fitting. She's quiet, almost unnoticeable if you're not paying attention, until she starts watching Wednesday Addams a little too closely. Her gestures, her clothes, the way she carries herself, everything about Agnes feels studied, like someone rehearsing a role. She doesn't just admire Wednesday, she imitates her, quietly, obsessively, and that imitation builds tension, scene by scene, until it turns into something else, something more dangerous. One of the season's most intense moments, Agnes kidnaps Enid. To bring that kind of presence to life, Evie Templeton went beyond memorizing lines. She put together a collection of references, including films like Misery, 1990, focusing on Kathy Bates's unsettling obsession with her idol. On set, she worked closely with the costume department to shape Agnes's look, clearly inspired by Wednesday, but not quite right, like a copy that didn't fully load. The hair, a wig over dyed hair, just off enough to feel unnatural. She also crafted a set of hyper-specific physical tics. Short, deliberate steps, barely there head tilts, and a signature curtsy, a stiff, formal little bow that became Agnes's unsettling calling card. She even created a custom perfume for the character, not for the audience, for herself. A sensory trigger to step into the role before each scene. Her process didn't go unnoticed. Jenna Ortega said Evie could fill silence with tension, calling her young Evie on set. Emma Myers praised her focus and ability to shift gears with every new direction. And Tim Burton? He described her as having a strange kind of silent film quality. That's not just a compliment, it's a hint. Agnes wasn't just performed, she was partially rewritten around Evie's performance. The result, Agnes DeMille doesn't need long monologues to leave a mark. She does it with stillness, with shadows, with the kind of energy that makes you lean forward without knowing why. In the world of Wednesday, that's more than enough. From the first few episodes of Season 2, Agnes DeMille triggered a very specific reaction from the audience, curiosity and unease. Social media lit up with theories. What does she really want? Is she just obsessed with Wednesday, or is there more going on beneath the surface? Some fans see her as a future antagonist. Others think the connection runs deeper, possibly tied to the bigger mysteries of Nevermore itself. Critics took notice too. Agnes stands in sharp contrast to the rest of the core cast, a quiet counterbalance to Enid's chaotic warmth and Wednesday's cold control. She adds tension without needing to dominate the screen. Not many side characters can do that. For Evie Templeton, just 16, this kind of impact means more than trending posts or early praise. Landing a role in a global hit alongside names like Jenna Ortega and Catherine Zeta-Jones puts her firmly on the radar. It's the kind of visibility that can fast-track a career, and the road ahead looks promising. The second half of the season hasn't dropped yet, but signs point to Agnes playing a more active role as the main arcs unfold. Co-showrunner Miles Miller recently said, "Agnes is now part of Nevermore's cast," hinting she's here to stay. Her slow, deliberate introduction suggests the writers and Burton are playing the long game. From a production angle, Agnes checks two important boxes. She expands the young cast with a fresh face, and she keeps the story unpredictable. And if she evolves beyond Wednesday's stalker, Evie will have the chance to stretch into more complex emotional territory. Whatever happens next, one thing's already certain. With just half a season on screen, Evie Templeton has taken a near-silent character and turned her into one of the most talked about elements of the show. And in a series this crowded with style and standout personalities, that's not just impressive, that's rare. Evie Templeton's arrival as Agnes DeMille reinforces something the series has been doing since season 1, using seemingly quiet characters to build tension and open doors to new storylines. With Agnes, that tension lives in silence, in calculated glances, in an obsession that's never fully explained, leaving the audience to read between every line or lack of one. This kind of role doesn't ask for memorized dialogue. It demands something harder: physical discipline, emotional control, and the ability to suggest intention without spelling out motive. With part 2 of the season still on the way, the real question isn't just what Agnes will do, it's how Evie Templeton will continue bending space. Whatever direction the story takes, one thing's already clear: her debut in the Wednesday universe wasn't just a career milestone, It added a whole new shade to the show's psychological palette. Now, it's your turn. What was the Agnes DeMille scene that grabbed you most, and what do you think she's still hiding? Drop your theories in the comments. And if you want to dive into Jenna Ortega's journey and how she became the new face of Wednesday Addams, click this video right here, and I'll meet you there in a few seconds.